Okay, well, I have a very fascinating video today that explores a very interesting issue that I believe is not talked about as much. And it's something that affects, I think, mostly negatively these big game companies, these companies making billions in profit, a year off of video games and this incredible entertainment medium. Ultimately, it's a net win for us gamers who have so much to play. But we're talking about backlogs and how video games now every day more and more and more of them come out, and we are at the cusp of just getting so much entertainment. You talk about movies, video games, TV series, YouTube videos, all this entertainment that we have. Is There's just so much of it that you cannot possibly consume all of it. And every year, yes, lots of people are born and grow up and start playing games and whatnot, but it is exponentially increasing. And you add on to that things like social media and other things that attract our attention. There's a fucking lot of shit to play, but we're focusing mostly on video games today because basically, I mean, the video games released per year is insane. All right, we're not talking about like AAA. We're not talking about like, all these crazy big ventures. We're just talking about just games in general. They're just always coming out. Shovelware on the Nintendo Switch, soon to be Nintendo Switch too. Shovelware on Steam. Old games that have been out for 25 years, people will sink hours a day into. So we've accumulated this enormous library of entertainment, and it's they're gonna have to make the best shit nowadays to absorb that level of interest in people. So let's look at some things, because I got some interesting things to bring up here. uh, every day, 50 games released on Steam. Now, how much of that is just absolute garbage? Some dude made his first RPG Maker game. Lots of it, but or Flash games and shit like that. But there is always an expanding amount of this stuff. And Jesus, 2023, 11,000 games were released on Steam. Just think about that for a second. Just think of all the countless hours we would have to explore that. Now, obviously, the biggest ones are going to be the biggest companies. These companies that come up with these enormous technological achievements, your GTA 6s, your, Oblivion remasters. These are enormous experiences that take tons of time, and you can theoretically just play forever. A game like Skyrim, you can live in this world. You don't, and World of Warcraft, like, you don't have any set amount of time. Take a look at this on my Steam. I've been playing. I have 5,000 fucking 263 hours in Total War Warhammer, and I'll never get bored of it. It's that good. It's just an insanely awesome game. I always just love to play with and be creative and build these adventures and shit along the way. And same with Skyrim, you just can't get bored of it. It's a game that you just is a part of your roster, and nobody is going to be able to absorb all the games and entertainment there is nowadays. You add that to that YouTube, social media, we have an amazing amount. So there are the top contenders. There is the top. How much of these games that come out are just garbage shovelware games I would never ever play? It's not going to add to my roster, but it's a video game that you can enjoy. So the top: Sony, revenue's massive, 88 billion. Xbox Game Studios, all the biggest: Nintendo, Blizzard, Electronic Arts, Bandai Namco, Sega, Square Enix, Konami, Ubi. These are all. Look at that, Ubisoft at the fucking bottom. These are the big dogs. These are these huge companies that have huge um, look at that. Ubisoft has the most employees and the lowest revenue. That's golden. But you know what I mean is that these are going to be attracting most of the gaming audience. Yeah, we got indie projects, we got like that Schedule 1 game made by, one person, but in general, and Minecraft type things, these oddball experiences that attract all these millions of people, but ultimately these are the big ones that house, and this revenue is vying for a lot of attention going forward. You got smaller studios, you got indie games, you got modded old games, you got old games, you got people playing on their N64 from the 90s. So I mean, this roster. I remember back in the day playing, playing on the. I remember back in the day when there was just not a lot of games, and whatever came out, games like a GameCube game. Think about at that time in 2000 like four or whatever, 2003 or whatever. You'd have such a limited option. Nowadays, we have just insane options. Our rosters are massive, and there's no way to really beat it down. So, I mean, you got your Xboxes, you got your Nintendos, you got your Activision games. Imagine how many people play fucking a World of Warcraft and StarCraft and Counter Strike and all these Steam games, just obscure shit. These are all vying for our attention. And yeah, the big dogs are going to accumulate a lot of that player base, but every day it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and our rosters and backlogs get worse and worse. So let's see what some people are saying about the backlogs. This is funny. Hello, another sale has come and gone. This is from 2016. Just think of all the games that have come out since 2016. Nearly 10 years. We have fucking so many games. It's not even funny. So it's like another sale has come and gone. I found myself staring at my backlog about 100 touch plus games I've never touched. Just think about how many games this person has had to play since I look. Oftentimes, a lot of the casuals cannot even finish like a new game, like Oblivion Remaster. Like I've played Oblivion 5 times over. I know it's a massive game. You're 200 hours of that. You cannot tell me that all this massive amount of people who have played the Oblivion Remaster are gonna finish everything there is to do in the game. There's just no hope in hell of that. Look at this comment. 2016 lug. I don't know why it says lug. I just call the black backlog the black hole. That's what it is. You'll just never finish it. You'll never finish it. I have games and experiences I like to see through to their conclusion. But, howlongtobeat.com. That'd be interesting. Take a look at that. Currently, I can think of games that play. I have a similar system as a Meteor. List of backlog games organized approximately how long it takes to beat them. Interesting. So some people make methods and executions to, try to get, more playability out of this stuff. So finish some games. Some games I just like to finish. I'm not big into doing a lot of this stuff. Just play whatever interests you. That's the spirit of a true gamer. Is that you're not trying to play the newest Call of Duty because that's who everybody's playing. You're not following the crowd. You just play whatever the hell you want for a fun day. That's or whatever is an interesting adventure or experience. That in my mind is the best gamer. There is types of gamers out there. They're just gonna play the latest greatest. They only have a PS5. They're only gonna play PS5 games. They don't like Nintendo or anything else. There's so many different types of gamers and how we play games that sit down. Listen to this person. I sit down with a blank piece of paper and ask myself, name 10 games I want to play. Like man, nobody is going to be able to do that. So, I mean, you got the biggest players, they're are vying for an attention. Nintendo has a massive backlog. I've got a Switch and, a moderate collection, and it's just like, it's the same thing. There's just so much to play. It's not even funny. And all these new releases are going to have to keep getting better and better and better because if they come out with something shitty, it's like capitalism. It's like if they come out with something shitty, nobody's going to buy it because you've got Witcher 3s and Oblivions and Skyrims and, Elden Rings. Like, nobody's going to have the time to play a shitty video game just because it's, the new thing. So look at this. Look at this 2025 release schedule that we have here. Like, I mean, look at this. Like, do you think that there's any human being on Earth that could theoretically fully beat these types of games? Maybe some people have OCD where they will find the best games and platinum them or whatever. But the chances of anybody, granted, a lot of this is garbage. I mean, look at what is it? It's a lot of this shit I haven't seen. Final Fantasy Rebirth. Uh, Geez, some of these I just haven't. Spider-Man 2 PC, Kingdom Come Deliverance. That's a massive experience. Sid Meier's Civilization, Dawn Folk. Never heard of that one. Uh, you know, as if you don't even hear Monster Hunter Wild's a big one. Some of these you don't even hear of before even Assassin's Creed Shadows, big one. Adam Fall, another Mario. Like, but other than that, look at that. Dollhouse Behind Broken Mirror, never heard of that. Wild Keepers Rising, never heard of that game. Crocs Legend of the Gobos, never heard of that. It's just like there's just so many games, and it gets more and more crazy year after year. Now that's South of Midnight, and on top of that, you got shitty games releasing too. They try and trick people into buying them, so to speak. But any seasoned gamer will tell you there's just no reason to play shitty games, but because there's just so much. Doom: The Dark Ages, big one. Elden Ring, Night Rain, that's a big one. May 30. Cyberpunk 2077, Switch 2, big one. Mario Kart World, Switch 2, probably a massive amount of time. All the Breath of the Wild. I have Breath of the Wild, and I don't know why. I need to beat it. I need to play it. I just have not even barely started. I played it for like an hour. And, these things, you just can't finish it all. So there's no way. There's no way for you to finish it all. Borderlands 4, to be announced. Look at all these to be announced ones. I haven't even heard of any of this shit. All of these games, I just barely have even known. Cloudheim. What the fuck is Cloudheim? Dead Meat PC. And it's bad for smaller devs too, because it's like YouTube. It's like how many billions of channels making videos are there every day, or millions and millions and millions of videos. Like, you're just in this sea, this tide of massive stuff, where rightfully so, only the best kind of rise to the top. Doom: The Dark Ages, PS5, PC. It's insanity, the biggest ones, most technological achievement, Grand Theft Auto 5 will be huge. But I mean, just think about how much you could be able to do in that game, how technologically impressive it's going to be, how much care went into its creation, and its general likability. So I mean, there's just so many games. There's so many games. It's insane. And now there's probably lots of games in this roster that will be undeniably great games that just you won't even know of, that won't come. What's the average time plan of the month tonight? So let's look at this. Now, I mean, like I said, Total War Warhammer 3, 5,200 hours. Some of these games are taking up huge chunks of an already, if you just sat down and played every game for 6 hours or whatever, you would still have a trouble getting through it all. But then you couple on to top of this that there are games that you'll just be playing forever. World of Warcraft. So let's look at this Reddit thread. What's your average playtime home amongst your? Is this just the Elder Scrolls one? Okay, this is that. This is just for Elder Scrolls Online. We don't give a fuck about Elder Scrolls Online. Sorry. But anyways, this is a person says, here are some tips on help you deal with it. Hi, I've created a video where I show you 10 effective tips on your backlog. I start by gathering a queue on games. Let's see what this person is, because I would never be this ADHD fucking autistic about, trying to beat everything. Yeah, there's some games I want to experience to the end. I'm interested in the story, or I'm just generally having fun and find it fascinating, so I want to do it. But look at this shit, man. Like, I mean, focus on playing a game one at a time, allowing yourself. See, I don't agree with that at all. Me and my bro Bran always have this. It's called a roster. You gotta have games that you gotta like have your main, have a game that you always play. Like for us, it's Total War Warhammer. You gotta diversify and have these little experiences. Have games that you download off the internet. They're obscure and random from 20 years ago, older games that you just want to check out and play around with. Trying to limit yourself in any way, you'll never win. There's no way you'll consume all this entertainment. It's just like movies and videos. You're never going to see it all, so don't even try. So yeah, utilize the game. You're aiming at 100% completion. Now, the thing is about this is that some games have things about them that's like, collect 50 widgets from around this open world. You could spend hours just looking for one of them. Oh, well, go online, look them up. Well, I don't want to use online. I want to make it authentic. So I mean, there's shit like that. There's sinks in games that, I mean, look at Skyrim. I've played like 10,000 hours of Skyrim. And, I haven't actually gotten all the achievements. Well, I mean, I think with mods it's disabled. But shit like that. It's like, you don't always have to do everything in a game, I think. I think that it's more important just to have fun and get the experience. Embrace a varied variation by exploring different genres of games. Now, I don't agree with as well because, for me, turn-based, not as fun. For me, sports games, I would never fucking play. When we were younger, in like the N64 era of games, I'd play sports and wrestling games just because there was such a little amount of games that for you to pick from. But nowadays, like I would never play a sports game because, yeah, I mean, why would you waste your time doing something that you don't really like? Create a balanced gaming experience by alternating between playing long and short, medium games. Yeah, I mean that's kind of contradicts his other point here. But as you can see, none of this is ever gonna work. It's not gonna work. There's too many games. So I mean, you're never gonna be able to do that. Shift your mindset from striving 100% completion every game and focus. So look at how much contradiction there is in this. There's just no way. 11. Stop thinking about it as a backlog, which selects work, an unpleasant set of tasks, and start thinking of a collection. It gives you a lot of options for gaming fun. Great, great post that is. Without a doubt, you're never going to get to it all. If you're trying to be ADHD about beating every game, you're just never going to do it. And if you're someone who's younger, say like 18 to 20 years old, fuck man, you've got thousands and thousands and thousands of games that weren't even out when you were born. You know what I mean? So it is just, and probably those older gamers, 50, 60-year-old gamers have a like they were probably, if they were hardcore gamers their whole lives, they probably had a collection of games going where, yeah, they were completing everything, and it just got to a point and exploded in popularity, like 2000s onwards, where there's just too many games, man. There's no human being on earth that could play every game, every movie, every bit of entertainment. It just doesn't work that way. We've created so much that human beings just can't consume all the entertainment, and every year it gets crazier. Every year it gets more and more and more. So it's like, if you aren't feeling a game within an hour, install it and throw it in the done folder. Luckily on Steam, you could just keep everything. It has a nice, interface where you can kind of just pick it and play it. And if you're feeling it, go. If you're getting burned out by all of this, don't get burned out by it. Games are meant as entertainment, and if you make them work, you've failed. And some people do. They make games work. They go home every day, they sit down, put on their gear done things, and they just go click 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 click, finish quest, finish things, finish that. Take your time. Enjoy the world. Enjoy the scenery. Um, do random shit in games that doesn't lead to any finishing. Make mod games, add new content, do whatever you feel like. There's no right way to play video games. Nice list is one a lot of people will have trouble with, but I can't help but feel. Let's 8. Recognize when a game fails to captivate your interest, being willing to move on to the next one. I mean, yeah, obviously. So yeah, that's that. Now, like I said, some games like Total Warhammer, like Skyrim, like Oblivion, like World of Warcraft can utilize enormous play times. We're not talking about the 200 hours, which is the kind of baseline for being a long game nowadays. We're talking about the Counter Strikes. We're talking about the World of Warcrafts. We're talking about the StarCrafts. We're talking about the games that just have no limit to how long you can play them because you feel like you're living in a world. 1,000 days played. That's 3 years, more than 3. Yeah, 3 years of his life just sitting playing one character. We only live 80 years at most, 80 to 100 years. So, I mean, that's like what? That's like a significant percentage of his life on one shot. But now he was probably enjoying, coming home, putting on some TV, cooking dinner, is playing away as character. That's enjoyment, So, but it just goes to show that like 1,000 days of playtime is insane. Core is so weird sometimes. I don't know, but the highest is about 600 days time across all my characters. So this person literally spent 2 years of his life basically in World of Warcraft. And for some, it's probably. I played World of Warcraft since closed beta of the original game. Continue to play it to this day. This person's getting Burning Crusade. It's insane. But, I mean, World of Warcraft is one of those types of games where someone can just live in it. They just enjoy being a part of that world. And there's no. It's not like in the olden days of games where it's like you start level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, level 1 and boss done. These are games that just are open. You just go and play them. You're in that world. So I mean, yeah, 1,600 hours, 16,000 hours. Yeah, it's easy to get back into. You have pleasurable memories in a video game. It's kind of how it goes. Cataclysm. WoW was an exercise in embarrassment. My main from mid BC to present, 420 days, almost a year of time. Vanilla release, 56 days, 156 days. That's a shit long time. All in all, with all the alts, I would imagine 2.5 of their years of their life played. And that's not like all at once. That's like in between. So that's like 10, 20 years of playing, going back, playing, going back, playing, going, doing other things, coming back to the game. It's insanity. Highest playtime is 1100 days. That's insane. My highest playtime is 400 days. That is insane. That's huge. How many hours here? Let's look at Google how much hours. Let's do the 1100. 26,000 hours for the highest played in World of Warcraft. Let's just see how 400 days. 400 days is fucking 96 hours. I'm pretty close to that in Total War Warhammer 3. I gotta be up there on the fucking things. And look at that, even only 48 achievements. Now I don't go looking for achievements. Pretty much 90% of the time I spend, I won't even get the achievements. We always play modded, so I don't even know if you can get achievements while modded campaigning. But it just goes to show that you don't always have to do what they like want you to do in games. All you gotta do is just play. I've been playing WoW since 2005. Now it's like these people are almost bragging about how long. 15 is what's the longest time they played. 30 to 60 minutes. That's casual. If you're only spending an hour playing video games, I play hours and hours and hours a day. So I mean, any free time I have, I play. WoW is insane. Let's look at this one. So this people on PC gaming. What is your longest amount of time played on any game? So this is in any game. This is any of that. Oh, interesting. 1,300 hours in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. Final Fantasy 17. That's a fucking long time for that game. You must have beaten it like 15 times over. 7,000. RuneScape's another one I've seen. A lot of people play forever. RuneScape. 3,000 hours in Tarkov. That's another thing. In multiplayer competitive games, people can just kind of play forever. They get high off that rush from winning that they, are always at. 2,000 hours GTA 5. Witcher 3. That's a long, long time. You must have beaten that a couple times. I didn't find Witcher 3 is a good long game, but 200 hours, you're going to be through most of it. I have many thousand hours wasted in wow. 6,500 hours in Path of Exile. Hunt Showdown. Division 2, 2,300 hours. 17 years of World of Warcraft, 10,000 hours. That's a pretty good one. Console game, 600 hours in Phantasy Star Online for Game Club. That was a good game, and that's the same kind of thing. That's a game you could just keep coming back to and back to. Devil May Cry. So, I mean, as you can see, Civ 5, 800 hours. Rocket League, 1,500. Another one, competitive online enjoyment. Lineage 2, 1,000 hours. And then WoW, I don't know. They weren't asking. Look at this comment down here. Here, let's see if we can get this. Look at this. Grove Street CEO says, I don't know, ? They weren't asking you. What? People are so fucking weird online. They just like, I don't know. This is just the way people are. They're so stupid sometimes. But yeah, I mean, that is the truth of the matter with gaming. These companies, this profit, this trillion-dollar industry or whatever, game industry year revenue. I don't even want to know. The global game industry revenue reached 184 billion. So it's not trillion. I would think it's more. But as you can see, that the big dogs have a massive problem. The modern game companies have a massive problem on their hands. It's that games can be forever. There's no expiry date on games. And games that have come out in the 90s are still perfectly playable today. And what's it going to look like in 20 years when we have another 20 years of entertainment to absorb? People who are born today will still have all of this entertainment that we have to absorb, you know, SNES games, Super Nintendo games, Nintendo games, fucking, Elder Scrolls Morrowind. These there's so much entertainment nowadays that we can't possibly ever watch it all. There's just too much entertainment. So you've got to take and pick the best and enjoy and have a good time. That's like, isn't that what it's all about, man? It totally is. So peace out.